He just got on his bike and he trekked it. Now, in the post-fight interview, Izzy was saying, like, you know, he couldn't find his knockout shots. Yeah. Bro, me neither, bro, because I fell asleep watching that shit, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're fucking right, bro. You couldn't find your knockout shots. You couldn't find any shots, bro.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Yes, people, another edition of Knightz and Round Table Discussions where we discuss all sport all the time. Got my guy Tooth in the building. How are you doing, sir?
What's good, man? Dr. Evil is back, bro.
People, yes, welcome back. First of all, apologies. There was no preview. Life happens, innit? Life happens, we move on, but we are back, you know, when Tooth is here. Dr. Evil, as he wants to be renamed. He's no longer the Nate Diaz of dentistry. He's now Dr. Evil. That's what we're calling him now. Our MMA connoisseur Tooth is in the building, and you know when he's here, you know what time it is. It is time for Fight Talk, and we are going to be reviewing the the event that happened over the weekend, UFC 276. We're going to be talking about the two main events, the implication of those main events, and everything else. But as usual, before we start, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up. As I say all the time, share. We are here. And don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. Yes, so 276 took place over the weekend in Las Vegas.
It was boring.
It was a good card in terms of the fights that were on there, but unfortunately, some of the fights didn't live up to the hype. Obviously, there's only one place to start. It was the main event. It was Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier for the undisputed middleweight belt. Finished Izzy on UD, 49-46, 49-46, and 50-45. Izzy retains, still undefeated at middleweight. But bro, look, for me, yeah, and you know me, I'm going to use boxing as an example. You know me, I'm a lover of the sweet science. I love to see masterclass. Obviously, you know, Money Mate is my favorite fighter. But when but when you look at UFC, it's different. I don't think you can do the whole sweet science thing because there's an expectation from the fans. And I understand that Izzy was the champion. It's the challenger's prerogative to try and snatch the belt away from him. But, bro, as an MMA fan, and you know you've been doing this since day, what was your perception of that fight? Because there seems to be a trend going on where Izzy doesn't look like he's out there to entertain anymore. It's just all about a W now, bruv.
Yeah, you nailed it. Bruv, when you think of Glover Teixeira, what do you think of, bruv? Go on, bruv, just say it. It's all right. This is a safe space.
It's you, though. You said the word, but I just think old, bruv, because you put that in my head.
Bro, he's bare old though, bruv, yeah? And it's becoming the same stigma with Izzy now, bruv. When you think of Izzy now, you're just thinking, oh, fucking hell, bruv. He's just going to get on his bike and trek it, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, boring, bruv. But to come to his defense, we see this with dominant champions, bro. Look, I'm happy we didn't do a preview, bro. We would have been, bro. We would have been wasting smoke, bro. We would have just been wasting bare fucking time talking about absolutely nothing because he just got on his bike and he trekked it. Now, in the post-fight interview, Izzy was saying, like, you know, he couldn't find his knockout shots. Yeah. Bro, me neither, bro, because I fell asleep watching that shit, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're fucking right, bro. You couldn't find your knockout shots. You couldn't find any shots, bro. Well, to be fair to him, he did pepper him, but it was just, like you said, playing it safe, coasting, trying to do everything he can to get that W without risking, without giving the fans a show, giving the spectators a show, being this great entertainer, being this great trash talker, being this guy that, soaks up all of the limelight when it's him fighting. Do you know what I mean? None of the other fights were as interesting as Izzy's main event.
Exactly.
No one even cared about his opponent. Do you know what I mean? It was just Izzy was fighting. Yeah, cool. Max and Volk are going to run it back, and there's some few other guys on the card, but it was really Izzy was the draw.
Yeah.
When you're that guy and your last few fights have gone to sort of decision, what's it, Vettori, Whittaker, and now Cannonier.
Cannonier,
you lost to Yarn, which was also decision as well, but not to his fault for that. You're you're getting in that bracket of becoming, you're falling in that trap of becoming like a GSP or a John Jones, which is not a bad thing, which is what all dominant champions do in the end. Yeah. Which is essentially my point being is like, look, you've been at the top for so long. Everyone knows there's so much tape on you. Everyone knows what you're going to do, how you do it, how good you are. You kind of have to stop doing the things that kind of got you to the dance. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And play it safe, bro. And play it safe. Now, the thing is, with guys like John Jones, GSP, and Izzy, they're so fucking talented. They're so ahead of the curve that they can, against the top level guys in their weight class, they can fucking take their foot off the gas pedal and still be miles ahead of these guys.
It's true. It's true.
And that's what we're seeing essentially. But I don't, when you're that good, you're just that good. I can't blame him for not going out there and throwing a fucking spinning wheel kick flying off the cage. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to do a fucking flying armbar or some shit, bro. I can't blame him if you're not trying to do. Do you know what I mean? He may have done that shit, and that's what he built his name, his reputation on. But, now we're in a different time. Like, he's been champion for 3-4 years. He's been in this game for only a handful of years. And he's already a legend. There's GOAT discussions with his name in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is a fucking trailblazer, bro. So if he wants to coast against someone like Jared Cannonier, bro, who, let's face it, in 10 years' time, like the MMA world, the MMA community, the fans are not really gonna fucking be bringing him up in any sort of discussion. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he is, to his credit, he is doing what he should be doing, and he's nailing it. So, it's only now we're moving forward. Now it's like, bruv, who the fuck else is left for him to fight?
Well, this is it. And but before we move on, we obviously know who's next. So before we move on to that, the issue I have with Izzy, and you mentioned John Jones and GSP, but I feel like GSP, obviously, absolute legend. I feel like different kind of fighter, but I feel like he taped off towards the end of his career trying to play it safe. Bones is the same thing. He hasn't really been the same since he's been on and off. But in their prime, what Izzy's doing now, they weren't doing. They were still finishing opponents. They were still entertaining the crowd. That's what allowed them to become the legends, and obviously those that are in the GOAT conversation. Where I feel like Izzy is in his prime, yet we're still seeing it so early that he's playing it safe. Now, I understand that, along with Izzy trying to be exciting and entertain the fans, your opponent has to be willing. And what we've seen in the last 3 fights, and this is why I don't completely blame Izzy, is that in the last 3 fights, these guys, especially Cannonier, who wasted an opportunity at the middleweight title, these guys just look as though they're just happy to be there, bro. They're just happy to be there, get to 5 rounds, say they didn't get slept by Izzy, and then move on. And I just feel like for example, the fight against Cannonier did nothing, bro. He was just there, got hit a couple times in the face, held Izzy against the cage a couple times, and that was it. Like, he never pulled the trigger. And I'm just like, bro, if you're gonna go for the world title, I understand against a guy like Izzy, you're a little bit cagey, a little bit cautious. But by round 4, your corner knows you're behind on the cards, bruv. You got to pull the trigger at some point. And he didn't do that. So is it a case of, as good as Izzy is and as safe as he's playing, the opposition have to take responsibility for the fight as well, bruv, and actually come out and try and fight this guy?
Yeah, bruv. Yeah, like a lot of opponents freeze. A lot of opponents freeze when they come to fight Izzy. And that's because when you get in there with him, you realize, you know, his nickname, the last stylebender, it really fucking makes sense, bro. You could put him up against anyone and he's always got a good chance of winning, because a fight always starts standing up. And when it comes to that department, this guy is light years ahead of everyone else. Light years ahead of everyone else. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Someone's corner might be telling them something. You know, it's the 4th round. You're down on every fucking card. You need to go out there. I don't give a fuck if you get killed. Like, go out there and fucking do something. Like, here's a gun. Go in there. Fucking shoot him if you have to. Like, do something. And they go back in there and they can't. They can't do fuck all, because, you know, part of it is got to do with, yeah, he is so good. But then also the psychology is like, oh, fuck, I'm actually in here with the GOAT. And I understand that there's nothing I can do. So I'm trying to get to age 50 and remember where my fucking keys are.
Yeah, you get I hear you.
I ain't trying to be Glover Teixeira in this shit, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to live, bro. So, yeah, bro. Like, bro, Tyron Woodley's corner have been telling him for fucking years, get your back off the cage. And he still, what does he do? He always, like, fucking puts his back on the cage, like, you know, when he used to fight in the UFC. So it doesn't matter what the fucking corner tell you. It doesn't matter what your game plan is. Like, you're right. When you go in there, you gotta kind of not show that guy any respect at all, and do a fucking Juliana Pena if you have to. Like, take the ass whooping for the first few rounds, make him feel like he's on top of the world, and then, you know, when it comes to round 2, 3, take them into that deep waters, bro. Switch it up, bro. Like, fuck it, and you know, you've been taking an ass whooping for 3, 4 rounds. Do you get what I mean? Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I mean? But that's individual to each his own. Do you get what I mean? To each his own. I'll still rate Cannonier, but like I said, the gulf between Izzy and everyone else is just, it is what it is. Like, he's in that stage now where, yeah, other than Alex, which he should beat comfortably, where do we have to start talking about Usman? Do you know what I mean? We have to.
Bro, listen, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Bro, we had this conversation in the group chat, and I've already told you, both of them have both said they're both Nigerian, they're both African, they're not going to fight each other. They're looking for this African dominance in the UFC. So that's why you see those two together, along with Francis Ngannou, bruv. They want to keep that going. So, bro, as much as you want to put it in the atmosphere, it's not going to happen, bruv. Unless Uncle Dave.
Do you know why that's the problem? No. Let me just say this, yeah. Let me just say this, bro. You being from Montserrat but claiming you're a Jamaican.
And this guy, bro. Listen, people don't listen to this guy, bro. Kingston 10, bro.
No, I'm playing. I don't want that smoke, bro. This guy's legit. He's Kingston 14, Denham Town. Do you know what I mean? This guy represents, bro. Jim Brown DNA right here, bro. Yeah. So listen, you being a Jamaican, yeah, you're and this is what surprises me, bruv. You're putting way too much faith in what two Nigerians are saying.
Oh no, no.
It's true.
Putting way too much faith in what two Nigerians are saying. Trust me, bruv. They're all playing it like humble right now, bruv. Yeah. But ultimately, I feel like, there's already smoke to this. There's already, both of them have had to address this already publicly. You can't, like, it's piss in the ocean, bruv. You can't take it back now.
Yeah.
And Usman is surely going to be Leon. And Izzy is, we'll get into that in whichever podcast.
That's right. That's 278, bro.
But just cutting a long story short, Usman is going to beat Leon. Izzy is going to beat Alex. Knowing the landscape of the divisions now, Izzy doesn't really have anyone next. Usman potentially may have Hamza next. However, if we're that far down the line, you tell me which is going to make more money, bro. Nigeria versus Nigeria in Nigeria, or Usman versus a white Russian.
Well, obviously, it's Usman and Izzy in Lagos, bro. That would make stupid money, bro. The money we're talking about, if Uncle Dana lets them make the money, because we got that aspect to deal with, bro. Because we know one of the biggest reasons why UFC hasn't taken over boxing is because of that aspect, bro. We're not going to get into that. But if the money is released and it's there, then, bro, you're looking at stupid money involved. And bro, listen, I'm not saying that I don't want to see it. I'm just saying that this is what the two fighters have said, and I believe what they've said. But as you said, and I don't disagree with you, bro, if the money is right, and we're talking about, like, bro, we're looking about serious numbers here. If the money's serious, bro, that fight would happen. No questions asked. But it can't be
exactly. And the reason why I say that, bruv, yeah, is like, all right, Usman versus Hamza may sell a lot, and it will. If it ever happens, it will. Hamza is a beast, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know who he's fighting next. I think they got a fight lined up for him, because they obviously got a fight lined up.
Is it Dariush? Is that the same, or am I talking about? Is that Makachev?
No. Yeah, Islam.
Oh.
Islam and Dariush. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, you're absolutely right. Islam is another white Russian. And for the viewers that aren't watching, yeah, the pun is basically, I'm drinking a white Russian. All right, you can't see me on screen, but I'm drinking a white.
You keep saying that the R word too much, bro. Like,
yeah, proper, bro. I completely forgot what day and age we're in. Shit, bro. For real. Is that shit still going on, bro?
Of course it is, bro.
Oh, deep, bro. I didn't even know, bro. All right. That's me playing dumb, by the way. You know. but yeah, still, bro. What was I trying to say? Yeah. So Usman versus Hamza will sell big in the States, will sell big in Europe. But Izzy versus Usman will not only sell big in the US and big in Europe, because these guys are already big stars, but also it will sell in a continent that has never really been broken into by the UFC until maybe recently, or only recently, with Ngannou, Usman, and Izzy.
No, 100%, bruv. Like, I don't, and I think, bruv, listen, Uncle Dana, this is why I say, bruv, Uncle Dana needs to watch these things, because we're making these fights, we're making the money make sense. Like, that makes so much sense, bro. And as I said, I'm not against it, I'm for it, because both of the guys get their money. We get a fantastic fight, right? A fantastic spectacle, and the exposure is unreal. I personally just think it's not going to happen for a variety of reasons, but the main reason being they've said that they don't want to do it. But the money's right. I 100% agree with you too. I think that it could happen, and it would be stupid for it not to happen. But you got to understand that these guys respect the game, they respect each other, and they respect where they're from, and they're not willing to do it. Simple as. But I want to come back to something that you said, bro, because you just bypassed this guy like he wasn't on the card, bro. And we saw, and people, we're going to get to the co-main event, but the fight before the co-main event links to obviously the main event. And obviously we saw Alex Pereira fight Strickland. People, you can go watch the fight, because if you don't, all that happened was Strickland stood there like a dickhead, got hit with the left, hit with the right, the fight was over against a kickboxer. Go figure. But obviously the narrative is to, and obviously you knew this before I did last week, is that Pereira obviously fought Izzy in kickboxing. I don't know which kickboxing thing umbrella they were under at the time, but is it, you know?
No, with kickboxing is completely different. So you do have a premier organization such as Glory, who have been bought by Zuffa, which is, or IMDb, not IMDb, fucking WME, the company that owned the UFC, that bought it off Zuffa. So they're somehow related. Do you get what I mean? Glory is the premier organization, which Pereira was a two-time world champ of, and I think 2 weight classes as well. However, it doesn't necessarily mean Glory is where all the best kickboxers in the world are. Because kickboxing, bro, kickboxing has been around for a while, a long time. It's been around, and some of the best kickboxers are from places like, of course, Thailand. Do you know what I mean? Places like around Thailand, like Cambodia, Burma. Then, of course, you have your European countries who are big in kickboxing as well, such as the Dutch and the French. You get me? And then, of course, there's a big sort of African as well contingent in kickboxing. So these guys, not all of them get into Glory. Do you know what I mean? And they end up fighting on cards, organizations, and sometimes just events. Do you know what I mean? Like one event.
Yeah.
Title fight for whatever fucking title it is. So it's very different to UFC or boxing in that sense. But these two guys, they were, of course, at the time when they were kickboxing, they were at the top of the game. Pereira arguably lost, not even arguably, he lost. He lost to Izzy the first time they fought, but the judges gave it to Pereira. And then the second time they fought, Izzy was schooling him hard, and then he got knocked out. Do you get what I mean? Pereira possesses that Deontay Wilder power, as we all saw. Now, I've watched a few of his kickboxing fights. I was impressed. And then when he came to the UFC, I was following him as well. He only had like 1 or 2 fights, and he was very impressive as well. But the whole time you could see gaping flaws. You're like, bro, someone just put him on his back. He's fucked. Now, I had picked Strickland strictly because of that reason. I was like, bro, come on. I know you're a knucklehead. I know you look like you don't shower on a daily basis, but surely you have the intelligence to fucking put him on his back and just win the fight.
Bro, but you can't wrestle.
No, but bro, you're right. We saw that. We saw that in the first round. But he is an MMA practitioner. He trains that every day. He's been training it for a longer period of time than Pereira has been doing. So mixed martial arts as well is not a thing where you can come in as a novice. Bro, a white belt will never beat a brown belt, ever.
Yeah.
unless they're fucking carrying a bazooka.
It's true, because there's levels.
There's levels to this shit, bruv. So yeah, if they were to just have a grappling match that night, no strikes allowed, who do you think will win?
Well, Strickland should win.
All right, of course. Now, if we're going into an MMA fight where, you know, everything goes, and you know this guy is a kickboxer and he possesses fucking hands of stone. That's his nickname. Shout out Roberto Duran. Do you get what I mean? He carries that name now. Like, Pereira is hands of stone. And he can put you to sleep. Why the fuck are you going to, other than your ego, which, of course, is a big flaw in Strickland, as we know from his antics. From his antics, that's one of his, he's got a big ego, bro. Why would you go in there and just not put this guy on his back and just finish the fight? Like, that fight could have ended in the first round for Strickland. Now, that's all my man had to do. But if we were to do a preview, I was going to say, one of the things that I'm going to get... Yeah, but exactly, bruv. One of the things that Strickland, again, one of his flaws, other than his ego, but technically speaking, is that he stands up way too straight.
Yeah.
Almost like he has, almost like this, the opponent that he's fighting is not going to be throwing a closed fist and they're going to be slap boxing. Like, that's the way his stance is, almost so postured. It's like he doesn't even, it looks like he doesn't even respect, you know, chin high, square, straight up. It's like, that's not, you know, you shouldn't fight like that, bro. Like, you're a big target to hit. Do you know what I mean? You're making yourself very easy to hit. Now, in his previous fights, he's gotten away with shit like that because he has been the better striker. And I feel like that had gotten to his head and he felt like, yeah, do you know what? I can kickbox with a two-time world champion in kickboxing. And he paid the price, bro. There was no surprises there, bro. No surprise. If you wanted a kickboxing fight, you knew what you were going to get with Pereira, bro.
Yeah, bro, the KO, and that's exactly what Strickland got. And this is it, people. So we know Strickland is next for Izzy. That's going to happen, obviously, UFC, whatever it is, maybe at the end of the year, maybe early next year, we shall find out what goes on there. Last thing before we move on to the co-main event, is Izzy. Love and respect, bro. You're one of my guys. I can understand you getting a W. Keep John Jones' name out your mouth, bro. Simple as. You're not on that level. You're not on that level. You don't want that smoke, because Bones will fold you. And that's all I got to say on that, bro, because we got to move on to the co-main event, bro. Oh dear, the co-main event, bro. It was Volkanovski versus Max Holloway 3. As you know, people, you know our guy Tooth loves the trilogy. We were both rooting for Max. We were hoping that Max would get the W, A, because we're Max fans, but B, and this is for Tooth, he would have wanted to see a quadruple. You know, he loves that. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. Volkanovski, absolute dominant performance, winning on all the scorecards, won every single round. See, Tooth, this is, obviously I want to get your perception of the fight, but when we contrast Izzy, yeah, when you do a 5-rounder, there's levels to doing a 5-rounder. And Volkanovski showed that, because his fight went 5 rounds, but it was entertaining and it was dominant, bruv. Like, this is a Max Holloway who is in that conversation. It was because it's at featherweight, right? Featherweight. 2?
Yeah.
Featherweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Max and Aldo, those are the two guys you think of as GOATs at that division. And Volkanovski took Max Holloway and said, all right, the first fight, I won. The second fight, everyone's arguing that you won. I'm going to put this shit to bed. I'm 2-0 up. I'm going to make it a hat trick. And he did it in style, bro. what was your thoughts on that fight? Because as much as I said in the group chat that I thought Volk would win, I didn't anticipate such a dominant performance, bro.
I kind of did, bro. I kind of, like, I knew, and this was not, it was just a feeling. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't based off their previous performances. In fact, for me, it was based off what I saw from Max, bro. Not from what I saw from Volk. And it had nothing to do with their fights, bro. It was just the build up to the fights, you know, the interviews and the press run. Max just looked spaced out, bro. He just didn't look right, bro. Now, trust me, like you said, we were rooting for Max, bro. And especially me, bro. I've been following this sport for a long time. Bro, when Max joined the UFC, he was like 20. Bro, me and Max are almost the same age, give or take a year. Like, when he joined the UFC, I remember, like, first few fights watching this guy. Do you know what I mean? I remember his fight against Conor. I remember his fight against Akira Korosani. I remember his fight against Poirier, Cub Swanson, all these guys, bro. Do you know what I mean? All the way up until he came up to fight Aldo, and then he went on that insane title run. Do you get what I mean? He beat before he beat Aldo, he beat Oliveira, he beat Pettis, then he beat Aldo twice, and then he beat fucking Ortega. Do you know what I mean? This, like, I built an affection for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, with this sport, it's easy to develop that sort of, like, yeah, that's my boy. Do you get what I mean? It's very easy, especially if you've been watching them from day. Now, I've seen it happen a few times, bruv. I've seen it happen with Anderson Silva. We kind of see it happen with Aldo. We've seen it happen with other guys, bruv. You know, like, guys that we started supporting, and then, oh shit, like, we're seeing them lose. Tony Ferguson, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're kind of seeing that with Max now. He's unfortunately trapped in that space where he had a dominant reign, but it doesn't look like there's a comeback from this. It just doesn't look like you can run it back with Volk. Don't see any different outcome at all.
No. I think the third fight.
Go ahead. Sorry, bro. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I think the third fight was justified purely because obviously the second fight, and a lot of the amount of people that said that Max won. So because you're thinking 2-0 down, why do you need to have a third fight? But I think because the second fight was so contentious, and obviously Max won 2 fights after that, while Volk went on to fight Ortega and Korean Zombie and beat them. I think them two having the third fight was justified. So I don't have an issue with that. But, bro, when it's your time, it's your time, bro. And one of the things I will say is that Joanna knew the time was up, bro. And I know you get onto me for saying they should retire. Bro, that was his retirement fight, bro. You know why I say that, too? No, but you know why I say that?
Do you know what? I agree with you, but I'll give you the floor, bro. I agree, though. I agree.
Do you know why I say that? Because I know, obviously, we have different views when it comes to this guy. So the same thing about Jose Aldo, and I said he was the other one, bro, that I said it about. I can't even remember. But it's one of them ones where I'm just like, especially for Max, unless...
I think it was Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah. So, bruv, unless Volk goes up or loses that belt, Max is stuck between a rock and a hard place because he's not going to get a title shot at Volk for a while. But everyone else is like, you could fight, but you're now, bruv, for Max now, the only way I can see him carry on fighting is if he then becomes a prize fighter, bruv, and just takes the big fights, because he's not going to get another shot at Volk for ages, bro. So my whole thing is instead of I can't see where he's going to get them big fights from, like the massive ones, like obviously fighting the likes of Conor and them, man, they're like the big pay-per-view fights. So I'm just like, why are you going to take all that damage for so little money? So I just say, bro, you might as well retire, bruv. Like, retire or, like, bruv, go to Bellator or something.
Man said, bro, how are you, bro? It's like, bro, sometimes you don't understand how disrespectful you are. Look, I know I could be fucking disrespectful, bruv, but there's a line, bruv. You said, bruv, Max Holloway should go to Bellator, you know, bruv. Like, take a second, bruv. Just process that information, bruv. Oh my god, bro!
That's not even,
I agree.
bro,
I agree with everything you said up until you said go to Bellator, bro. Like that was the trade-off, bro. I was like, I don't agree with that, bro. He shouldn't. But you know, who knows, bro? He might end up going there, bro. He might be one of the 3 subscribers to this podcast, bro. and he might actually take the fucking great advice that we dish out on a weekly basis on here, bro. Do you know what I mean? So, bro, no, for real. Like, I was watching the UFC Embedded, and my man got married, and his chick is like a surfer chick from Hawaii. Bro, life is good, bruv. Like, go back to her, bruv. Just go back to her, bruv. There's plenty of us out here that wish we were going back to that. Do you know what I mean? Just retire, like ride off into the sunset. You live in fucking Hawaii. What more can you ask for, bro? Like, you already look like you don't remember where the fuck you put your keys. Do you get what I mean? Like, bro, I swear, Volkanovski has done a lot of damage to my man, bro. They were building up this fight, yeah? And I remember, like, one of the points they were talking about during the build-up was like, you know, oh, Max was a champion and this and that. And then, you know, when they started talking about his stats, they would say, most significant strikes absorbed ever, Max Holloway. I'll be like, bruv, that's not a fucking good thing, bruv. Fucking someone look at his brain, bruv. Like, why is he fighting? Do you get what I mean? Like, bro, he just made him sound like a fucking punching bag, bro.
Exactly.
And then when you look at my man as well, like, again, I can say this because I've been following him from day. Like, you do see him slowing down, bruv. Like, I don't know. He just doesn't look there, bruv. He just did not look there. Ever since he lost to Poirier, that was it, bruv. You know, he went up in weight to fight Khabib. That fight never happened. He fucking he couldn't fight. He never got medically cleared to fight, so something was wrong with him. And then he went back up to fight Dustin and he lost. And then he came back down and then he fought Volk and he lost. And then he fought Volk again and he lost. And then in between, he fought Yair Rodriguez and who was it? Calvin Kattar. And these two dudes are legit. And he beat both of them with ease. And then he went back to fight Volk again and he lost. So you're right. You're like, bro, are you going to be stuck in that Colby Covington space where all that Daniel Cormier space if John Jones didn't get into all that legal trouble, where you're just going to be known as that guy that would have been champion if there wasn't someone better in the division? Because again, the gulf between Max or Colby and the rest is fucking massive, bro. But then, unfortunately for them, there's Volkanovski and Usman in their division. So it's almost like a hump that they will never get over.
This is it, bro. This is it. And I love the way that you brought up, bro, Max couldn't touch Volk. Like, Volk, bro, like, I think the one thing that said to me this fight was over, bro, was in the first round when Volk was talking to him, bro. Literally talking to him. And I'm just like, bro, this guy already knows that you're not getting anywhere near him, bro. Like, Volk was so confident, bro. He was so prepared. He was so quick. He was so strong. Like, it was crazy how good Volk was. And obviously against Korean Zombie, we said, yeah, Volk looked great, but we thought Max was the one. It's like, if there was anyone that could get to Volk, it's Max. And he just disposed of him. Just said, yeah, no, Max ain't that guy no more. Too much damage done, bruv. And Volk just said, yeah, I am that guy, bruv. Nasty cut from Max, though. Nasty cut, bruv.
Oh, bro, like meat hanging off, bruv. No homo, but bro, it was just meat hanging off the side of his fucking eye, bruv. Like, it was rank, bro. It was disgusting.
Disgusting.
Bro, yeah, you nailed it, bruv. Like, from round one all the way to the fucking finish, Volk was just toying with him, just playing with him. And not to say he wasn't taking it seriously. He was taking it fucking seriously, but he was doing it with an era of confidence, bruv.
Bruv, I think it wasn't disrespect, because he's got massive respect for Max. He knew Max was a threat. Bro, I just think he knew he was at his peak. I think like there's probably, when you see these fighters, there's probably 3 or 4 fights in their whole career, because obviously there's always niggles, there's always injuries and whatnot. But I think there's 3 or 4 fights in a fighter when they have a good career where they're just at their peak, and it doesn't matter who they're fighting, bro. They know their level is just so far superior to anyone else. And I think that's what this was. It wasn't arrogance. It wasn't the fact that he dismissed Max. It was a case of, bro, I'm at my peak, and I think that you're not. And even if you are, you can't match my level. And that's what we saw, bro. Like, I was so impressed with Volk, bro, because I didn't expect that fight to pan out. I expected him to win, but not with the dominance that he had over Max. And it brings me over to the next question, bro. Obviously, he's another one like Izzy and like Usman, bruv, like kind of lapping the division. We've got Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez, I think, in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously, he's already beaten Ortega. I have a feeling if Rodriguez wins, I think that'll be the next fight, because he hasn't fought him before. But you had some other news, bruv. You were calling out some other names in the group chat. What were you saying? What do you think the next one should be for him, bruv?
Charles Oliveira or Islam Makhachev, bro. Go up to 155 and bro, go up to 155, take an interim belt in the meantime. That's what he wants. But he did say, like, in the post-fight interview that he fought 3 times already in the space of 9 months, which is impressive. Yeah. It is fucking impressive, especially for a champion. And then I think
he's fighting for the rest of the year.
Yeah, he's not going to be coming back for a while, bruv. I think he said as well in the post-fight interview that, in the post-fight press conference, that he broke his arm as well. So if that's broken, you can expect him to be out like Usman. Usman was out for a while now because his hand got fucked up. So if that's the case, 155 will sort itself out by that time, because we will know whether Oliveira is fighting Islam for the title or whether Oliveira is fighting Conor for the money fight and for the title. That will all figure itself out. And then in that time, like you said, at 145, Ortega and Yair are going to fight. Presumably, Holloway is just going to take a back seat for the time being and see what happens. I think you nailed it on the head earlier. If Volk is out for an extended period of time, or if he goes up to 155, there's no way the UFC are not going to put an interim belt there or strip Volk of the title, because that's like throwing away free money. That's like, we could just set up a pay-per-view and put the 145 interim title up and then, get Max to fight on there. So that will also figure itself out as well. But I don't know. For Volk, I think he should go up and fight Islam or Charles if Charles doesn't fight Conor, because Charles is calling out Conor as well. But I think indefinitely go up to 155 because, even if Yair wins, And Yair, I love him as well. One of the fighters that I've been following from day one. His journey, like, if he beats Ortega, I wish he gets the title shot. He deserves it. However, if he doesn't fight Volk for that title, and let's say runs it back with Max for an interim title or for the vacant title, I'm happy with that as well. I just want to see Volk move up, because it's like, all right, cool, man. You've proved your point now. Like, you're better than all these guys. You've beaten Zombie, you've beaten Ortega, you've beaten Max 3 times. You've swept him. You've beaten Aldo. You've beaten Chad Mendes.
He's won 12 times at 145, bruv. He's on a 12 fighter streak. Undefeated since he's come over to the UFC.
Yeah, and the names he's beaten as well, bro. Like, you can name any of the ones in between that I missed, but there's some fucking names on there. There's scalps on there, bro. These guys that he's fought are not tin cans. They're not taxi drivers, bro. So, yeah, 155 is what I'm hoping he does.
There's another thing going on too, because I saw it. There's, bruv, Aljo's called him out. And your annoying, irritating boy is calling out everybody. Cejudo, bruv. So, is there a possibility, bruv? He's calling out everybody. Did you see? I don't know if you saw the thing between him and Aljo, bruv. And then you see what you did to Sean O'Malley as well.
Yeah, he was drunk, bro. You could tell. He'd been drinking. Bruv. I guess to be fair, like, Cejudo, I mean, credit where credit is due. He's got a name for himself. So it doesn't matter who he comes back. He can fight Aljo, he can fight Sean O'Malley, he can fight Volkanovski. But if we're being serious, like, Volk and Cejudo is probably the most unlikeliest of fights out of the bunch. That will probably happen. Not saying it won't, but very, very unlikely. I don't think Cejudo will come to 145. I think the narrative is with Aljo. I think he'll go back to 135. That's what I think, but I could be completely wrong. That's what the build-up seems to be. Like you said as well, you alluded to it as well. They were in the crowd talking shit to each other, Aljo and Cejudo. And then I think last month as well, a few months ago, they done like a sit down with DC on camera as well. And then obviously with his comeback in the pipeline, and he was the champ at 135 before he retired. So it more gears up towards Aljo than it does to Volk. Even Volk is talking about moving up to 155. So yeah, could happen, but I think it will be unlikely as of now. Now.
Fair enough, bro. Finally, last question before we wrap up too. Is Volk now the greatest featherweight in UFC?
Oh, that needs a podcast on its own, bro. Because you have to think, there's 3 definite names when it comes to 145 GOATs. Aldo, Max, Volk. Each of them had their errors. Yep. Each of them had their sort of legacy, their time when they conquered that division. Now, to some of the trolls, there's a 4th GOAT of that division, and it's Conor. Do you get what I mean? Do you get what I mean, bro? Like, look, there could be an argument made. Bro. There could be a small argument made.
Argument made for that guy, bro.
Small argument for Conor being the GOAT at 145, bro. Like, straight up. Do you get what I mean? But realistically, only 3 names come to mind when we're talking about that division. As of now, if you're asking me on the spot to give you an answer.
Just on the spot, bro. Don't worry. We'll have it. We'll make a separate poddy for this. But I just wanted to see, obviously, because Volk's now beaten Max 3 times, he's beaten Aldo as well. Like, I'm just trying to gauge. Would you, or is it still? Is it Aldo? Is it Max?
Yeah, it's between. Well, this is the thing. Volk beat Aldo. Sorry, no, Max beat Aldo, but Volk beat Aldo and Max, who beat Aldo. So it's like, if we're doing it the mathematical way, then yeah, you have to give it to Volk. You have to give it to Volk.
Bruv, these things ain't based on maths, bro.
I know. Now, if you're going on other things, you may give it to Max or you may give it to Aldo. If I'm going on me personally, if I'm just trying to give you an off-the-cuff answer right off the top of the head without adding all of this shit up, Volk. It has to be Volk.
Fair.
I'm not looking at it through rose-tinted glasses, because those guys did provide us with some fucking brilliant times. But if we're just strictly looking at fighting, taking away all the other shit that's involved with it, bias and all of that, favoritism and nepotism, and we're just strictly looking at fighting, Volk. Off the cuff answer, it will be Volk.
No, fair. You can't be no fairer than that, people. And obviously, when these guys do eventually retire, we will go back and we will look at it and say who is the GOAT and who is not. It's always, when it comes to the GOAT debate, obviously people try getting their feelings and whatnot, but it's about facts, and it's all about personal preference as well, bro. It is what it is. But obviously, Volk coming out, winning again, showing the dominant champion that he is at featherweight. And we'll see what happens next. If he moves up to 155, we can see what happens between Brian Ortega and Yair Rodriguez. See if Yair Rodriguez wins, will he get the next shot? Obviously, Cejudo's there lurking in the background, but as Tu said, it looks like it's going to be Cejudo and Aljo next. Obviously, we'll see what happens next, bro. But people, that is it from us. Another jam-packed fight talk. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about the fight between Israel and Cannonier. Is Israel now? One thing I got to say as well, bro, about Israel, bro. You cannot come out to the Undertaker theme tune, bruv, and not bury a man. Bro, that was like the most wasted ring walk ever, bruv. Because you didn't bury man, bruv.
Trust me. In front of Vince as well.
Exactly, I'm telling you. But people, let us know what you think in the comment section. Is Israel getting boring, or is he just doing what a champ does? Has Cannonier thrown away his one opportunity at winning the title? Do you agree with two? Should it be Usman versus Israel next after the fights that they've probably got coming up next? Do you do the Nigerian versus Nigerian in Nigeria? That just sounds wavy, bruv. That just sounds wavy. I can't lie, bro.
I love it, bro. I fucking love it. The Nigerian versus the Nigerian in Nigeria, bruv. Love it, bruv. Bro, the UFC need to hire us, bruv. They just need to, bruv.
I'm telling you, bruv. Listen, people. But let us know what you think about that. Or does Izzy put his money where his mouth is, steps back up to light heavy, and take on Bones? But we all know that's not going to happen. But, you know, it is what it is. And let us know what you think about Volk versus Max. Is Volk now the #1 guy in featherweight? Is he the GOAT in that division? Who do you want to see him fight next? Does he move up to 155? And fight go against Charlie Olives, the Connors, the Poiriers of this world? Does he do that, or does he stay at 145, wait for the outcome of Yair versus Brian Ortega? Obviously, he's going to take time out now after the fights he's had. People, we want to hear from you. And as usual, before we go, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up. As I say all the time, share. We are here. And don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. I want to say thank you very much to my guy, the Dr. Evil, the talk
I
to
love
you,
it, bro.
MMA
It's like Prince, isn't it, bro? The artist formerly known as. Do you get what I mean?
Well, I would say thank you very much to two, as always,
Thanks,
sir.
bro. Thanks, bro. No, I appreciate it, man. Always, bro. Can't wait.
Bare technical difficulties right there, people. Don't know.
Can't wait.
He's still going, bro.
He just came back on. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, bro. Now I can, bro. That was bare technical difficulties, bro.
Bro, I don't know what happened there, bro. It's ironic it happened right like when we're just about to fucking end the show, bro.
I know. But people coming up. Hope, as I said, we haven't been on. We haven't been on for 2 weeks. We haven't disappeared. We haven't gone ghost. I said to you before we finished the last one, we are working on things behind the scenes. We're trying to go live. Hopefully, it will happen this week. I will keep you posted in that. If not this week, then 100% we'll be going live next week. We'll be getting some stuff out there for you people, and we'll be going harder than ever. But people, stay safe out there. Be safe, and we shall see you very, very soon. Peace.